You guys found our team back with a brand new video. It has definitely been a while. But I'm just going to start a new series, part 1 out of 8, for one player that from every one player from every AFC East team that should be traded. I know it's after the trade deadline, but this upcoming offseason, instead of making it one long video of all 32 NFL teams, I should do it by division and talk more into detail instead of just listing. But what this video is going to be is reasons why this team should trade the player, what they could expect to get in return for the trade, and the teams that should target this player or should trade with the team that's going to trade him. So yeah, number 1 we got the Patriots, and that is tight end Benjamin Watson. He's 38, he's injured, and there's no point. He's a free agent after 2020, and if they were to cut him, it'll cost them $3.8 million. Might as well just trade him. They drafted Ryan Izzo, nice tight end, who when he gets the ball, he can make plays. He hasn't got the ball out this year, though. But he has him. And this free agency class for tight ends is pretty stacked, along with the draft, like it has been the past couple years. There's multiple things. Benjamin wants to play a couple more years. The Patriots have no need. Right now, he's questionable day-to-day. Not many catches. He bounced around the league recently, and I think he just needs another fresh start. It was a good idea to come here after Baltimore, New Orleans really didn't work. But the Patriots can expect to get a 6th or 7th round pick. A team will trade a late round pick for a year of a veteran to work a guy with potential. Or they can get a young defensive tackle, as I think they're not going to bring back Danny Shelton, who they got from Cleveland 2 years ago. And obviously to fill in the loss for Michael Bennett. And I mean, one of the two, there's obviously more things that they could use, but those are the two biggest things I think that they could gain from Benjamin Watson. And I think the Browns should target him, the Raiders, Bills, and Bucks. The Bucks could bring in him to help out O.J. Howard. They won't necessarily play him like a number 1, but to help O.J. Howard, who struggled, who was a former first-round pick. The Bills, he fits their scheme perfectly with young Josh Allen. He could be a very Jason Witten-type player for Josh Allen. Raiders, I just think last year they lost Jared Cook, and who was very good, and I think Derek Carr doesn't have that valve. I guess his, last-second decision guy is Hunter Renfrow, and with a little receiver like that, it's not always going to work, and he's going to get injured. Because right now all he has is either Tyrell Williams or Hunter Renfrow, and he can't really dump it down to any backs as charge availability is not there, and Josh Jacobs is a power back. And for the Bills, you got offensive tackle Dino Seki. He's 34 years old. He's too inconsistent. He's been on 3 teams in his career, and he's only played about 5 years. He's a free agent not until 2021, and he has a massive contract, $14 million guaranteed, $7 million a year for the next 2 years. I mean, it's insane. He played 4 years in Washington, only starting 16 total games. In this offseason, the Bills gave him a 2-year, $14 million deal. I mean, it is just so bad for this team. And I don't even have to talk too much. This is just a for-sure player that they need to get off their books this offseason. They could either get cash, which you don't see anymore, but I think Buffalo would just want to get him away. Compensation pick rights. They don't even want to pick. They just want rights to a player that they could claim later in their careers. Or a sub-linebacker. They have Milano as their current sub-linebacker. A sub-linebacker is pretty much like a nickel guy, a coverage guy on 3rd and long who could come in situational football, kind of like a Shanley on the Cowboys or a Jeff Heath for Cowboys. I'm referencing those players because I'm a Cowboys fan, and that's what they can kind of do. Not saying that they should trade Shanley. I'm just giving an example of what the Bills kind of need. Teams interested, obviously the Browns, they need tackle help, any kind of offensive lineman. I think the Dolphins, if they're still tanking next year, I think they can take on that cap space, take on a veteran to kind of get that locker room built, and might as well play an offensive tackle which can mentor Laremy Tunsil, or could have. I don't know why I said that. He plays for the Texans. But mentor those guys. It just slipped. Laremy Tunsil. And the Bengals, they need tackle help to mentor Yona Williams. And I was talking about like mentoring. I saw the Dolphins, and it made me think Laremy Tunsil, but I really mean Jonah Williams, that left tackle for the Bengals, who's been banged up and really inconsistent when he does play. Even at Alabama, they spent a 2nd-round pick. He could really help out there. The next up, the Dolphins. I got DeVante Parker. This is kind of obvious, but not really. He's 26. He's a bust. He was 14th overall pick in 2015, and in 5 seasons, it's just been awful. He's been banged up, but it's just not right. And I think going into his prime, I think it's the best for both teams just to get a fresh start. I think the Dolphins could easily get a mid-third or early fourth, or O-line help in return. And there's a list of teams that could get some value or find value in DeVante Parker. I think the Bills, just a scheme fit, Josh Allen, a possession guy. The Raiders, I think if he can have a guy like built just like Tyrell Williams, I think he's a great red zone threat for DeVante Parker for Derek Carr, because the only red zone weapon he has is Williams. And I think if a second one would be really good with the lack of tight end help from Oakland. I think the 49ers, I think they got Emmanuel Sanders, but I think their young receivers are just struggling, and I think Jimmy Garoppolo could use a guy like this next year. And they could take the cap. Panthers, I think they just need a lot of weapons for whoever their quarterback's going to be in the future. They bring a bunch of guys. They bring guys from Indianapolis. Their draft picks aren't working out, and I think their only good receiver right now is DJ Moore. And I think a guy like DJ Moore and Parker would be very good. The Colts, same reason why the Panthers. And I think Hilton, Campbell, and Parker would be a nice trio for Jacoby Brissett. Last but not least, obviously the obvious one would be Robbie Anderson and Jamal Adams with the recent rumors. But I think Brian Poole, who I think is probably the most underrated corner this entire league so far. And, there's no negative reason to trade him. It's not like the other teams, they just want to move on. No, he's having a career year. It's his 5th year, or his 4th year. He's about 3rd with Atlanta. He's playing really well. And halfway through this year, playing 8 games, he's already having career year than his previous 3 years in Atlanta, full 16 games. He hasn't missed a game. He started 16 for 3 consecutive years out of Florida. I mean, he is just amazing. And you could get a 4th-round pick for, I think, or a 6th-round pick in receiver help, because the Jets need help at receiver if they do trade Robbie Anderson, or a pass rusher. They obviously traded Leonard Williams just at the trade deadline. And there's a lot of teams that could use him. The Panthers, the Dolphins, to help out that defense with Xavier Howard, which would be really nice on that outside. The Saints, who it hasn't worked out. They traded for Eli Apple from New York. He's been getting burnt. And a guy to play in the inside of Marshawn Lattimore and Von Bell up top, I think, is really nice. He fit well with the Texans. It's having a guy that can guard those little receivers, because the Texans, every time you look, they're getting burnt by the slot receiver. He's a slot corner. Perfect mesh. And the Chiefs, obviously, just to help out that defense any bit, would really help. And that's the video. Let me know recommendations below. And that's it.